What a Sunday it's been here in Tiszaujvaros as the elite men wrap up all of the action from final Sunday here on the World Cup stage. World Triathlon's annual descent into this part of Hungary. We can take a look at the start list then. 1 to 3, Hungarian, Lehmann, Kropko and Bicsak. You've got Igor Dupuis, Jonas Osterholt, Samuel Angelini, Gregor Rasva with that superb finish for the Estonian Jack WIllis, David Lang and Igor Dupuis. The first 10, Seth Rider, one to keep an eye on. Mark Devay in the water, should be fast as well. Gergely Kiss, another one. Andre Boctu, the Chilean. We were expecting a bit from the Chileans earlier on in the day in the junior men. Didn't really come to fruition in the end. Can get that right for his countryman. Dominic Coy further down there. The British athlete Bradley Course as well has experience at high levels on the World Triathlon stage. Takumi Hojo is in there as well. The Japanese athlete with plenty of experience. Schofield brothers as well, certainly ones to keep an eye on. They're away smoothly.
Just a massive thrashing arms on water. I look at that and think, there's no way would I want to be in there.
I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting to see if we could attach a GoPro to one of these athletes one day, or any mobile camera, I suppose, and see what it's like being stuck in the very middle of this melee.
I say that because the swim is the most nerve-wracking part for the athletes, because even if you're a good swimmer, you could just come into contact with athletes at a different point. You just end up in a bad position. The least in control in the race I feel that you can be. So it's always nerve-wracking. And bearing in mind, normally we swim one lap for 750 metres. We've got 3 in there today. So the amount of turns these athletes are making, it's one of the most challenging swims.
It's the Frenchman Igor Dupuis who's the first up towards the first buoy, who's going to avoid any of the congestion. Not only the 3 laps mean that you have to make these turns 3 times around each buoy, but there's also 4 buoys at the top end and 2 at the bottom. It's more than you tend to have to navigate on a regular course anyway, let alone with the additional laps, and you can see how just congested it is, 4-5 abreast going through there.
That's number 3 we saw there. Bicsak had arms either side of him. It's just that group there hitting the buoy at the same time now.
Dupuis, who is leading the French hopes along with Aurélien Germe in this field, and perhaps they were expecting to have a couple of others as well. Valentin Molek not able to get through his semi-final, lost it on the swim really, lost about 40 seconds on the swim and then struggled on the run in the end. The Frenchman Maxime Huber-Moosgruber as well, lost about a minute on the bike in semi-final too. It's the competitive juices that separates the best from the rest in this field, and looking to make the best of the swim situation is Mark Devay, who's moved himself into the front ahead of Igor Dupuis.
You mentioned they have so many good swimmers in the Hungarian Federation. I've read an interview with Marton Kropko's mum the other day, and she's been their coach since they were young in terms of the running and the biking, but they're in swim systems at a young age. They train as swimmers, so I wonder if that's kind of the standard model for a lot of the Hungarians, is we'll get the swimmers, those swimmers that are in a swim program but that have the interest in bike and run. So maybe that's why the standard is so high.
As the leading 4 are already making their way towards the ramp and the exit of the water. The reasonably long trudge down towards T1. Mark Devay is going to bring them out first. Superb work. The Frenchman Dupuis is up there alongside the other 2 Hungarians of Marton Kropko and Csongor Lehmann.
I mean, how well has Csongor Lehmann done to be there? The pressure's on him today. He's wearing number 1 and he's put himself in a fantastic position to be there.
And Marton Kropko as well, right up there with Csongor Lehmann wearing number 2, and Devay benefiting from being right at the front in terms of he would have been in a very congested 14th spot down there in T1. No problems whatsoever out of transition, that's for sure.
I mean, these together, you would think they're just going to get into a pretty good routine, work together smoothly and efficiently. We've got 1 athlete on their own there. I think that's Dobby.
Gergely Dobby may just fancy trying to catch up with his countryman up at the front.
I mean, it's going to be tricky. Those 3 had about a 17-second head start over those chasers. Jack WIllis leading around the rest of them.
Kropko being cheered on through with Devay and Lehmann. Dupuis will just lap up all of that extra energy that is lingering around the leaders as riders out on the front of the chasing pack, and first chance to see what the margin is. About 19 seconds or so. Kiss and Gergely leading them along with Ryder at the front of the group. It's a very good start for those front four, you'd have to say, getting a nice 19-second gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's gone out a couple of seconds.
It's a great place for Dupuis to be in as well. As I've mentioned, just you can feed off that energy of the crowd that's being directed towards the men around you and take that, work alongside these three that will know this course so well, and of course the success that the likes of Lehmann have had here will obviously pay dividends perhaps in terms of the experience around it.
You do think for Kropko, even though he's had some great results recently, it's hard for a young athlete to jump in with these seasoned athletes and ride as hard as them for, you know, the 20 kilometres. I mean, he's doing really well, but I wonder if it is a bit more of a stretch for him than some of the other more experienced athletes.
It's going to be slightly extended, the gap then. 25 seconds, another 6 seconds added to by the leaders. There's a little push just being made, a bit of separation as WIllis, the British athlete, trying to stay on the right end of it. There's a few gaps just appearing though in that chasing group.
Oh yeah, look how close that is now. About 5 or 6 seconds from the back of chase group 1 to the lead of chase group 2.
Schofield bringing them through. Bradley Course just on the rear of that group, the two Australians in there. 2 laps to go for the leading four. It's a long way to go for some of these athletes. Who's got the run in them?
Well, our favourite in the women's didn't have it all her way, so maybe our favourite today, Lehmann, it's not going to go all his way, but it's going to be tricky taking down. He really knows how to win here, and it means a lot to him. He's going to put it all out there, and I think that means you can just able to dig that little bit deeper if he needs to, but he's not going to have it easy.
The 3 Hungarians, the Frenchmen, have worked very hard to create for themselves, and Dupuis, Lehmann and Kropko are all going to be down the right end of the transition area.
Kropko was insanely fast then off the bike. He looked so close to the line. That speed then just carried him through and past Lehmann. What a dismount.
Very smooth, fast and first out of transition. Just a slight delay for Kropko coming out of T2.
Struggled to get his shoe on.
Csongor Lehmann is the first to go. No real surprise there. The Titan of Tiszy setting the tone. 51 seconds then for these 4 to just relax with almost and know that perhaps there's going to be 3 of them taking a medal away from Tiszy. Is anybody going to be able to change that as WIllis is leading the charge as it seems? The Brit is the man who has got almost the Pied Piper of the chase group with everybody else following suit. Ido as well, the Spaniard, who also had a very good run yesterday on the rear of that chase group. Lehmann in the meantime has opened up a really nice cushion and hasn't done it with a big kick or a huge amount of energy lost from the look of it. It just looks like it's a really nice pace for him, and that 7-second gap's opened up between him and Mark Devay.
I mean, Lehmann looks like he's getting better. He looks even better this second lap than the first.
Looks very comfortable indeed.
I was just
looking to
make the pass.
A dagger into the heart of Devay there. Steal away a silver. There's a long way to go, but he's just starting to make a little charge. You talked about Kropko perhaps having maybe a bit of R&R on the first lap, so to speak, and a bit of a recharge. I just wonder if the Frenchman's done something similar. Well, there's absolutely no doubt that the home supporters are enjoying what they're seeing right now. Lehmann on the charge, midway through this 5K run. Wait, 13 seconds now off the leader.
Devay 4 seconds behind, but that gap's opened up really quickly. Dupuis looks very bouncy, looks really like so much better than he did over that first lap. I think the bike effort did take a toll on these athletes.
Gergely Kiss now making a move to get towards the front of this chasing group. 106, and it's still around about 30 seconds behind Marton Kropko. Should be enough.
Devay is still managing to hold off Kropko. Number 1. I love that.
Well, why not when you're that far ahead of everybody else and you are reeking of calm, collected confidence on a track that you know oh so well. He'll know it better than anybody else, and they know him better than anybody else as well. Csongor Lehmann, back to back to back. Tiszy's Titan is there again on the top step of the podium. First place for the Hungarian. Finally, they have a winner today here in Tiszaujvaros. And what superb work as well from Igor Dupuis, who will make sure that there is not a single all-Hungary podium this weekend in Tiszy. The Frenchman will take second place. Not the Frenchman that many expected to be on the podium this weekend coming into it, but it's the Frenchman who's worked hardest perhaps to get it done. And Marc Devay gets himself a bronze medal in perhaps the World Cup event that he would have most wanted to find a medal in. And Marton Kropko continues his almighty impressive set of results at this level, at this young stage of his career. The top four have led by example throughout this event. Bence Bicsak is able to come through and round out the top five. 4 Hungarians in the top 5, and the top 6 is all Hungarians and French, with Gergely able to take that spot. Jack WIllis will make a top 10 finish. Gergely unable to hold on to his slender advantage he had over that group to come in 10th in the end.
Honestly, I can't really say anything. I'm still in shock because I can win here 5 times, but it's still like winning here the first time. It's always very special. I'm always very stressed when I go into this race because there's a lot of pressure on me by myself. I really want to prove myself and prove the city that I still can do my best here in my hometown. So the race was pretty nice. We had a little gap after the swim and we could work very well on the bike. We had to push really hard to make almost 50 seconds gap to the chasers, and I could start the run in a pretty calm situation. I tried to push really hard on the first lap and see what's happening, and luckily I could make a little gap to the other guys in the chase group. So I was pretty calm, but I really had to push myself to my limits till the last lap, where I really just tried to enjoy the moment, running on the streets of my hometown and letting in this all energy which is coming from the city.
C'était incroyable pour moi. C'est mon premier podium en Coupe du Monde. L'année dernière, je faisais des Coupes d'Europe et cette année, j'ai fait 2 Coupes du Monde sur distance olympique et c'était très difficile pour moi. Et là, je suis content parce que l'échappée en vélo, ça a payé. Et du coup, ça me fait un podium et je suis vraiment super content. Et je veux dire merci à mon entraîneur, Mathieu, et à ma famille, mon papa qui était là. Et bon, c'est vraiment un moment spécial pour moi. Donc je suis vraiment très content. Et désolé de ne pas parler anglais, mais thank you so much.
I had a rough time during winter and the end of last season. Picked up an injury. I think most of the people know about it. I've been really open about it. So yeah, I've done only 2 races this season so far. I had to skip the one in Sardinia, so I did a nice block just to prepare with my run a little bit for the sprint distances. Obviously my swimming bike is there where it needs to be. I had a great weekend, to be honest. Yesterday was pretty cool. Easy swim, really nice bike, and relatively easy run. I paced myself very cautiously. I knew that it makes our start numbers today, but I didn't really care. Humbly, I'm a good swimmer, but yeah, so I didn't really care about the start position. Yeah, today was also really good, good swim, really nice bike. We worked a lot with Csongor, and yeah, just after the run I was hoping for the silver, but the French guy had a little bit in the tank. He skipped a few turns on the bike, to be honest, but yeah, bronze is still pretty good, especially in my home country. Yeah, really happy with it.
Csongor Lehmann continues to do it at this event, that's for sure. Igor Dupuis, fantastic for him to find himself that silver medal. Marc Devay third, Marton Kropko just missing out in the end. Seth Rider would have liked to have been further up in terms of the field, particularly going out onto the bike. Bradley Course had done well he's come into the top 20 here, although only 30 odd riders. Dominic Coy bringing up the rear at the end, wasn't eventually lapped by Lehmann, I don't think, has at least been able to finish and complete. Andre Book, the Chilean, we expected a bit more from him maybe, but not the result that he would have been hoping for. Is this a turning point on the upturn once again for Mark Devay then? Certainly can use it as a platform to continue to push forward. He touched on coming back from injury and of course the frustration of Paris last year. So he's used to the top 10s perhaps in the World Cup stage, but this is something that he'll probably be very content to get used to, taking a podium at this level. Igor Dupuis. There's only really one question about his victory, isn't there? And that's whether he's going to do it for a 6th time in 12 months' time.
I would think so, betting on today in the last few years.
It's fairly easy to write the annals of history when it's just one name continuously being put down.
I mean, and just thinking for the rest of his season with Hamburg just around the corner, what a confidence boost heading in.